It's the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia, with your host, Bob Snap.
Hi guys, welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Before we get started, I ask you to please subscribe. Thank you. Today's video, Andy Griffith's daughter, Dixie, and how she felt really bad that she could not attend her own father's funeral. Wonder why? I'm going to tell you. Here we go. Andy Griffith was not a new face on the screens. Within a career that spanned over 7 decades, the actor thrived in many areas. He's an actor, singer, comedian, TV producer, Southern gospel singer, and a writer. Unsurprisingly, his folksy appeal became a fan favorite. Everyone loved him for his diverse roles, including playing Sheriff Andy Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show. It was thus a shock when he suddenly passed on July 3rd of 2012. He was 86 years old when he passed. After settling into a pained sleep on July 2nd, Griffith woke up early the following day and sat in his wheelchair. That would be where his wife Cindy would find him, unresponsive. The heartbroken widow would later say of her husband, "I cannot imagine life without Andy, but I take comfort and strength in God's grace and in the knowledge that Andy is at peace with God." Griffith's last wish was to be buried immediately after passing away to avoid the paparazzi meddling. He wanted to maintain the private life he had so much enjoyed while alive. The family quickly buried the actor at the Griffith family cemetery on Roanoke Island to honor his last wishes. TMZ disclosed that they had reached out to the family to find out if Griffith had been embalmed before being buried, but no one responded to the matter. The publication, however, learned that in North Carolina it was not illegal to bury people without embalming them. Even though the actor had struggled with numerous health issues for years, including hyperlipidemia, hypertension, and coronary artery disease, the death certificate indicated that he suffered a heart attack 24 hours before he died. Ultimately, the attack had caused his death. Days before his demise, Griffith had placed a phone call to his daughter, Dixie. They spoke about whether she was at peace with certain aspects of her life as the actor shared the tranquility he found with her. Dixie said it felt as if her father was imparting wisdom for her to carry forward. After saying their "I love yous" to each other, they hung up, and a few days later, the star passed on. Dixie would later say of the final call, I just knew that this was the last time I was going to talk to him." Despite Griffith enjoying a successful professional life, he had also faced every parent's nightmare when he lost his son, Andy Griffith Jr. in 1996. Griffith Jr. had battled alcoholism for years, and his death affected Griffith very much. It's especially difficult for him since he could not attend his son's funeral. Dixie disclosed that there had been too many cameras and magazines, and it just wouldn't have been a good place for him to be. The Matlock actor knew he was living out the final stretch of his life, and he relayed his last wishes to his family. He wanted his funeral to be held as soon as he died, and his family honored his every desire. 5 hours after he passed, his family had already laid him to rest. By the time news reached the paparazzi and fans that their favorite actor was no more, the burial was long past. Now, contrary to traditional funeral customs, which allow time between death and burial to allow family and other loved ones to pay their respects, Griffith's rushed funeral was reasonably uncommon and raised eyebrows. Questioned about the urgency, the funeral spokesman said this was the wish of the family. On July 2nd, 2012, a day before Griffith died, he fell gravely ill. Tests would later show he had suffered a silent heart attack. He, however, chose not to seek medical attention and instead summoned his loved ones, a small entourage of locals that had remained close to the family. Among them were the former Manteo mayor, John Wilson, his partner, Billy Parker, and Calvin Gibbs, who had been Griffith's companion in his final years. His wife, Cindy, who had been at her winter retreat in Florida Keys, arrived after midnight. Griffith knew it was his time to go, and together with the group made arrangements for his funeral. Notorious for preferring a private life, he wanted the same granted to his final moments. The local residents of his hometown did what they had to do. Sheriff grounded helicopters to keep the camera crew off Griffith's estate, and they laid him to rest precisely the way he had pictured it himself, in private. Unfortunately, the urgency of his final resting moments excluded some of his loved ones from attending the funeral. Daughter Dixie was heartbroken that she could not participate in the burial, but respected her father's wishes. She understood that he didn't want a funeral, he didn't want a circus, he didn't want a media frenzy. Griffith lay in perfect peace at his family cemetery on Roanoke Island, and everything appeared to have settled back to normal. However, his fans still wanted to mourn the star, and whether he liked it or not, there would be a memorial to commemorate him. One weekend in September, nearly 3 months after he passed on, tens of thousands of fans honored the icon with song and dance. Southern Mountain Fire Cloggers danced on a flatbed as Going Down the Road Feeling Bad blasted out in the background. Sporadic parade filed past the yellow frame ranch house where Griffith once lived with his family. That Sunday, the Moravian band, which Griffith had been a part of back in the 40s when he would attend the Grace Moravian Church, sang the gospel tribute. Later, 4 men in black suits led the congregation in some of Griffith's favorite hymns. Will the circle be unbroken? I'll fly away, and what a friend we have in Jesus. And afterwards, the preacher lifted his voice to sing the Lord's Prayer. There you go. I would really like to have been there for that. I'd really like to have seen that. And I hope I pronounced some of those words right, because I have no idea, to be honest with you. God bless him. That's all I have for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget about classic rock and country music facts and trivia. Please head on over there and please subscribe. Have a great day. God bless you. I'll be praying for you.